What's going on, guys? This video is gonna be a little bit more emotional for me, a little bit more personal, let's say, where I'm gonna share a little bit about my past relationship. I was basically engaged for almost 3 years and it broke up, and I learned a lot through it. And I just want to share with other younger men the mistakes that I made, the lessons that I learned. So hopefully you guys also, I really believe that we all have to make our own mistakes to learn, but it doesn't hurt to just listen to my mistakes, my experiences, and hopefully you can avoid them. All right. So I was engaged for around 3 years, and basically I believe she was the woman of my life. In my head, I want to get married to her, and I want to just grow old with her and have kids. And I really saw that little family, kind of building a family, leaving a legacy, and really just living all our life till our last days together. All right. I really believed she was my soulmate. And all of a sudden, last Christmas, she decided to end things. And I didn't see it coming. Now that I look back, I see a lot of little things that wasn't ideal, but I didn't see it coming at that time. I was just kind of going through the motion and going with the flow. And you know, when you're in a relationship, things get a bit boring sometimes. But as a man, sometimes you don't just see it. You're like, well, whatever, it's just part of life. But a woman's perspective can be very different from a man's perspective. So she decided to end everything and just moved out. Few weeks after that, had to find this apartment, this place, moved out. If you guys who used to watch me like a year ago, you know that it's a different house. And yeah, moved out. I had to really, it was during Christmas. Can you imagine? I was calling real estate agents on Christmas and they're like, leave us alone. It's a holiday, call us back in 2 weeks. And I'm like, I don't have 2 weeks, because we were living together, and now all of a sudden the relationship ended. So it's like, for me, I had to just get out because I had to move on, you know. And it wasn't easy. But guys, I made many mistakes that hopefully you guys can understand a few of them and avoid. One of the mistakes that I made, and I'll tell you what, is I kind of stopped focusing on my purpose. My purpose in life and my main focus, my priority, was the relationship. All right. It doesn't sound bad, right? You'll say, well, that's how a man should be, and it's good, it's nice, and we see all the Disney movies telling us that you should prioritize your partner and give them everything. But a woman's perspective, and also it just doesn't feel good when your partner, which is the person that you should be looking up to, kind of have you as a focus. You know what I mean? So my focus was the relationship. My focus was really making sure that she was happy, and maybe I wasn't taking her out every single day and traveling or whatever, but my emotional and internal focus was the relationship. I stopped focusing as much on YouTube videos. As you see, I wasn't posting as much. I stopped focusing on trying to make more money, on trying to compete in bodybuilding or whatever. I just was content with my physique. So I kind of plateaued in every other aspect of my life just to make sure that my girl was happy. All right. So might be good in the beginning, but then over time it kind of lower your value as a person, because then you're putting all your potential in a relationship, and nobody really wants that, because then you just plateau in every other aspect. And when she met me and she was in love with me, I didn't have her as my focus. My focus was my business. I had a lot of I was very enthusiastic, and I had that inner fire in me, but it died down because I was content, I was comfortable. And that's what I'm getting at. In relationships, a lot of times we do get comfortable. And I know a lot of men will say, well, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to sit down and order my pizza and drink my beer and watch Sunday night football while my wife is cooking, and just have that routine. But the reality is that life has changed. We're not anymore in that old school kind of life where we can just be comfortable, because people have option, and people are on social media and they see other people's lives. All right, maybe you're happy with that, but your girlfriend, she's looking at Tom, the neighbor, that is taking his girl to Greece, and she's looking at Jack that is going on a boat every single weekend, and then she looks at you, you're on the couch flipping through TV. What do you think is gonna go in her mind? It's just the reality of things. I want to believe all the good old school and ways of doing, but it's just not the reality anymore. And once you get too comfortable, you kind of lose that attraction that someone had for you eventually, all right? Because you get too comfortable, you get too sold. You're like, all right, this is our life. And then it just becomes stable, it becomes safe, it becomes known, it becomes certain. There is no more uncertainty, there is no more games, there is no more flirting, there is no more, maybe I'm gonna dress for him so he can give me more attention. No, it's just, everything is just secure, everything is stable, everything is routine and repetitive. And that is one of the big kind of mistake that I did, is just being a bit too comfortable and kind of checking the box that, hey, I'm engaged, I'll have this wife, we're gonna have kids, and this is taken care of. And guys, it's a never ending work that you have to do on your relationship. It's not just a one weekend that you go for a restaurant and then you just let it go, because you just gotta keep that fire burning. And as soon as you stop, someone will start looking for other options, and it's just the reality of things, all right? So that's number one. Don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable, and don't forget, the focus has to always be you. I don't care what we've been told, the movies, our parents will tell us, put her first or put your partner first. No, because if you don't put yourself first, you'll not be able to be loved, because people love people that take care of themselves. That's it. That's pretty much it. Take care of yourself, put your goals first, and put yourself first. Your goals, this is attractive. Put your own mission of life. Don't make your mission a secondary after someone else's happiness, because then that person will look down on you. All right? So that is number one. Number two is, I kind of neglected the red flags, the little signs, the little red flags. Sometimes when we see things that are not going really the way they should go, we let it go. And when you let go things too much, it says two things. Number one is maybe you're not man enough to speak up. Or number two is just because you're accepting everything because your value is that low that you'll just get along with everything. You'll just take anything just because you can't find any better. All right, maybe you're doing it out of kindness. There's a lot of things that I did out of kindness and kind of let them slide. But in my heart and in my mind, I was saying, well, that's gonna be the woman of my life, the wife of my dreams. So I gotta sacrifice also for her. I gotta kind of put some effort in there and put some sacrifice. And I wouldn't talk about it. But the thing is that the other person might see it as, he's doing all this for me. Maybe he can't even get any better. Maybe he's covering for something else. Maybe I'm so much better than him that I can get away with all of that. That's just the reality. That's just how people think. All right. And I want to tell you differently. Trust me. I want to tell you differently. But in reality, I believe that in relationships, when you're too much of a nice guy, you will end up last. All right. And you will end up kind of being backstabbed. All right. And I have no resentment against whatever she did, because that's just how people think these days. All right, don't be resentment for how people reacted to you, but understand kind of the game and the mindset and the mind games, and move on with that. We're not in the old school times anymore where you'll go on a farm and you'll be milking some cows, and then you meet that beautiful farmer and then you put a ring on her finger and then you guys are all set for life. It just doesn't happen anymore. With social media, with the way the word is, we have to kind of change our mindset. All right, and I get it, you want to be the nice guy and you want to build something traditional. Well, if that's the case, you really have to filter very well and qualify people. All right, and you got to make sure that you're finding that person somewhere that is a traditional place, and keep going with, like I said, making sure you have purpose and all those things. Now, moving on. The red flags and qualifying people and standards. You gotta have standards, guys. If you're a man, if you're on your purpose, you're a high value man, all right? Don't tell me, well, my nose is big or I'm short or I'm bald. It doesn't matter. You are a high value man. Now you gotta understand something is that you have to have standards. Men have no more standards anymore. We would take anything that looks good. Anything that looks good we'll fall in love with. We have no more standards. We see attractive female and you see three guys walking down the street and they're looking back and they're breaking their neck just to see her. We have no more standards. We're attracted by lust. We are lustful and we have no more standards, and as soon as we see someone that looks good, we feel that we're falling in love and our emotions get caught up. That's just crazy, and it keeps happening to me, you know, and I'm trying to kind of wake up from it and understand that it's just lust. And it's just the desire of the flesh. And this is something that is killing us as men. It's really making us weak. This is our Achilles tendon. It's the lust of the flesh. And as soon as you can conquer that, then you can unfold that little veil on your eyes, and then you're not blind anymore. Then you can see the person for who they are. And then you can qualify them. Is that person right for me? Is that person good for me? What is that person bringing to the table? But we're so caught up in the lust, the flesh, the beauty, the body, that whatever they do, as long as they're giving us that pleasure, we're like, well, she's the one. She's good. She's the one. I'm going to make her a wife. I'm going to make sure that blah, 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 whatever. It doesn't work that way. Qualify them first and have standard first, or you're going to end up getting burned and broken, guys. Burnt and broken. Qualify standards. All right, that's another mistake that I did, is that I didn't look too deep. I saw a good body, I saw a good external stuff, I saw this. All right, let's go, I'm sold. As soon as you're like that, trust me, the other person sees that you have no standards, and then they look down on you, and you're gonna end up suffering for it long term. Next mistake, I moved in too fast. Well, she moved in with me, but we moved in the relationship too fast. Guys, take your time. This is me. I'm a fast man. Everybody that knows me in real life, I've always been a fast man. I'll meet someone 2 minutes later, I'll tell them come over and let's have a supper and let's do this. I just skip so many steps. That's just how I was. I grew up in Syria, you know. In Syria, it's a very hospitality lifestyle. I would go to the gym, and next thing you know, I just met a guy and he's my best friend. But that's just how I grew up, and I would never kind of get hurt from it. But nowadays here, things are very different. I promise you, in Syria, the amount of men that came to my house that I just met, they come to my house, my mom is cooking or whatever, and hey bro, welcome, that's your house. And they do the same for me. But that's just not how life is in the Western world. And when you move in too fast, it shows many things. It shows insecurity. It shows that you can't handle it, because it's like a bike. Some people that can't bike well, they go super fast. All right. So another thing that it shows is that you're attached. You get emotionally insecure. You get attached. You just can't really control and step back. All right. Don't move in too fast. It's like if, oh, I've got a good deal, I gotta buy it. Oh, I got stocks are down, I gotta buy some. Oh, this girl likes me. Okay, I gotta lock her in. We want to lock in people. We want to make sure that we're moving in just so damn fast. And that's the thing with relationship, is that a lot of times I make that mistake of moving in fast. I like a girl, I start texting her, and then I want to see her every weekend. And next thing you know, it scares them away. And not only that it scares them away or whatever. It's for you. You move too fast, but then you don't have the time to reflect on that situation. You don't have the time to ask yourself questions, because you're seeing that person, or you're thinking about them, or you're texting them, that they're all up in your mind. You get all those dopamine and the endorphins because this beautiful girl texted you or she saw you. Then you can't even question if that's the right person for you or not. Next thing you know, you're moving in together, you're engaged, and boom, you broke up. All right? I'm not gonna say I wasted time, because I learned a lot. But guys, please rewatch that video. If you get into a relationship, have standards. Focus is always you. Take your time. Take your time. The focus is always you. Make sure that this person adds on your life. Make sure that if you're exchanging energy, what you're giving is what you're getting. All right, don't tell me, well, the man has to, and the woman has to do some stuff too. All right, it's not, yes, I don't mind. I always pay for dinner, and when I go out, I always offer, and dates and this and that. But what are you getting back? What are you getting back? Don't tell me, oh, I get some other stuff don't tell me, well, we will kiss and we will do that. That's not enough. That's not enough, because you also will kiss. All right, so that's it for this video, guys. I want you to keep those standards up, and yeah, everything happens for the best. We learn from everything in life. I don't regret anything. I'm really grateful for every single thing that's happening to me. It's hard to see it sometimes. Can you imagine, break up the engagement and went from thinking that's the woman of my life to being like, she doesn't really care about me, you know? But I let myself down. And when you let yourself down, people will let you down. Nobody's gonna give you unconditional love. That thing doesn't exist. I'm sorry to tell you, but don't look for unconditional love. Don't look for someone that's gonna love you, because nobody will love you as much as your parents. And if your parents didn't give you enough love, move on. That's just the reality of life. They didn't give you enough love. It's okay. Accept it, but don't go look for it in other women. all right? Because they will not give it to you, and you will end up being hurt and broken even more, all right? So you gotta understand that nothing is unconditional in this day and age, all right? There is no unconditional love. Your parents will love you unconditionally, your brother, your sister, but that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right? Accept it, and accept that everything is transactional, and you need to have standards, and you need to be able to walk away at any time in the relationship. Don't tell me, well, I'm this, I'm committed, I'm this, I'm that. Able to walk away at any time. Once you lose that power, people lose respect for you. Donald Trump said it. You go into a deal, you're able to walk away at any time, or you cannot negotiate. All right? So that's it for this video, guys. It just come straight from my heart. And I've been suffering a lot with rumination sometimes, you know. You gotta believe it, you know. I really loved that woman, and I still do have love for her. I'm not in love with her, but I have love for her, and I wish her all the best. And sometimes I'm like, maybe things could have been differently, this or that, but at the end of the day, gotta go back to our stoicism, amor fati, love of fate. Everything that's happening is for the best. We gotta love it, and we gotta learn from it. And I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.